All right, let's go ahead and get started with today's math lesson. As you know, we've been doing the box method, as I like to call it, to solve two-digit by two-digit multiplication problems. Today, I'm going to show you what happens if we have a two-digit by a three-digit, okay? And then we're going to talk about connecting that with the standard algorithm a little bit. This is going to be our last lesson where we're practicing with the box method, and then we're going to start a whole new module, okay? So this is kind of our last chance to practice using that box method and trying to tie that in with standard algorithm. So the first thing we're going to do is just take a look at what happens when we have a three-digit by a two-digit number, okay? So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open a Jamboard. And I am going to give us a three-digit by two-digit problem. And I want you guys to try to solve this with me. So hopefully you have your math journal or a whiteboard at home that you have been using to solve during these videos. The number we're going to look at today is going to be 352, and we're going to multiply that by 25. Okay, so 352 by 25. I want you to pause the video here and see if you can think about how you might solve this using the box method. What might you need to do to your area model to make it three-digit by two-digit friendly? Okay, so I'm going to give you a second. Pause here, think about it, and try to draw one. Now, hopefully, your box kind of looks something like this. We're still going to draw a box, and the only difference is one way is going to have 3 and the other is 2, right? Because now I have this three-digit number. So if I'm breaking 352 apart into hundreds, tens, and ones, I am going to have 300 or 3 hundreds. I'm going to have 50 or 5 tens. And then I'm going to have 2 ones, right? Because I know 3 hundreds plus 5 tens plus 2 ones equals my 352. Good. Now, what am I going to do on the other side? Well, hopefully you said, Miss Johnson, I have 2 tens, which is 20, and I have 5 ones. I know that 2 tens plus 5 ones equals 25. So now I have my area model set up, and hopefully yours looks just like mine. If it doesn't, just go ahead and take a second to make some corrections. And now we can start doing the actual multiplication, right? So when I look at this first box right here, I'm going to do 300 times 20, right? Remember our magic zero trick. We're going to pretend like those zeros don't even exist. I know 2 times 3 is, that's right, you guessed it, 6. And then I have 1, 2, 3 zeros that I have to bring back. Okay, so 20 times 300 is 6,000. I'm going to move from left to right, so I'm going to come to the second box, and I have 20 times 50. If I pretend my zeros don't exist, I can do 2 times 5, which is 10. But then I have to bring my 2 zeros back, okay? Now my last box here on the top row, I'm just going to do 20 times 2. Again, if I act like the 0 in the 20 doesn't exist, 2 times 2 is 4, and I can bring my 0 back. Great. Now we're just going to move down and do the 3 boxes on the bottom. So I'm going to do the same thing. 300 times 5. I know 3 times 5 is 15, and I have 2 zeros that I have to bring back. If I look at 5 times 50 and I pretend that 0's gone, I know 5 times 5 is 25, and then I have to bring that 1 0 back. And last but not least, if I do 2 times 5, that's pretty easy, right? I know that's 10. So now look, my area model is all filled in, and all I have to do now is add all of my partial products together. Last week we started talking about using that mental math, okay? So I'm going to do that to make it a little bit easier. Instead of adding 6 different numbers together, I'm going to add all the numbers in this row and all the numbers in this row and then just add 2 numbers, okay? So I know I have 6 thousands plus another 1,000. That's 7 total thousands. I don't have anything in my hundreds place. I've got 4 tens. I don't have anything in my ones place. So I know I have 7,040 on my top row. Now when I look down here at the bottom, I have 1,000. I have 500s here and I have 200s here. So if I put that together, that's 700s. Then I have 5 tens, another 10 there. So now I have 6 tens and 0, 1. So 1,760. Now I can add these 2 numbers together to get my answer. So 0 plus 0, 4 plus 6 is 10. Carry my 1. 7 plus 1 is 8. 7 plus 1 is 8. So my answer is 8,800. Okay? So see, it's really just more of the same, but now we've added in that third digit, so you have to have that third box. Okay? I would like you to practice one on your own. So I'm going to give you another one here, and I'm going to give you a minute to solve. So I want you to pause, and I want you to try to solve 265 times 13. So go ahead and pause, and I want you to try and solve. Hopefully you had a chance to solve and yours looks a little like mine here. You can see on the top, I've taken 265 and I've said I have 200s, 6 tens or 60, and 5 ones. And then on this side, I've taken 13 and said I have a 10, 1 10, and 3 ones, which is 13. Next, I've done the multiplication. So in this box here, I've done 10 times 200. In the second box, I did 10 times 60. In the third box, I did 10 times 5. I came down to my second row. In this first box, I do 3 times 200. Okay? My next box, I do 3 times 60. And then in my next box, I do 3 times 5. I added these numbers on the top row and these numbers on the bottom row, and that's how I got my 2 partial products here and solved for 3,245. So hopefully yours looks like mine. Now I want to talk about some common mistakes. Sometimes you guys are adding these numbers instead of multiplying, or you start multiplying and then you get to the end and you start adding. So remember, it's multiplication, okay? And then really check your work when you're adding, because a lot of you are getting messed up when you add. So hopefully this will help you and you'll get to practice a little bit more of that box method. Last thing I want to talk about with you is how we can go from the box method or an area model and connect that to the standard algorithm. So let's go back to 2-digit by 2-digit. I have 22 times 42, okay? Now, instead of breaking it apart into 4, I'm just going to do 42 on the top, and I'm going to break apart my 20 in 2 on the side. So I'm going to break apart one of my numbers, okay? So let's go over to my Jamboard. I'm going to do 22 times 42, and I'm going to set it up just like you just saw. I want you doing this with me. Okay? Now, we know that when we solve for a standard algorithm, we set our problems up to look like this. So they're on top of one another, okay? So I'm going to take my 42, put it on top, times 22. The first thing I'm going to do is solve for 2, okay, which is here, times 42. So 2 times 42, right? That's the first thing I'm going to do. Nothing has changed with that. I know that 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 4 is 8. So I know that this box right here is going to be 84. which also is here, okay? The next thing that we're going to do, though, is we're going to look at that second box. And if you look at the second box, you'll see we're doing 20 this time times 42. So it gets a little bit harder. But what do you notice? 20 times 42, we've already done it. We know it's 84. And if I do the zero trick where I pretend my zero's not there, now I bring it back. So it's 840. Okay. Now, this number, this 20 times 42 is going to go right underneath. And I'm going to add these together. So 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 4, 12. Carry my 1. And I get 924. So as you can see, the area model kind of helps get you prepared for learning how to do multiplication using the standard algorithm. We knew 2 times 42 was 84. And we're doing the 2 times 42 first. Next, we're going to get rid of that 0. We're going to do 84 again, put the 0 back on, and add them together, okay, to get 924. So I wanted to just introduce this to you guys because I'm going to be giving you some practice on standard algorithm multiplication when you come back to school. But really and truly, the activity for today is still focused around that box method and just adding in 3-digit. I wanted you to be able to see how using this can directly go hand in hand with doing an standard algorithm. So let's go ahead and take a look at your assignment for today. Okay. If we go into classwork and you look at Monday, after you watch the video, you're going to have some box method slides. Now, you're going to have to click on the slides. You'll get a copy for yourself. And we've had some assignments where you do slides in the past, but it's been a while. So the first thing you're going to do is you'll be able to type, okay? So you'll type your name in the box, and then you're going to scroll down, and you're going to type your answers. Likely, you're going to need a scratch piece of paper or your whiteboard for this, right? We know if we look at the first 43, you're going to type, and if you break apart 43, what do you get? Well, you get 40, 4 10s and 3 1s, and we're going to do the same thing for 25. We have 2 10s or 20, and 5 1s, right? Now, we do the multiplication. If I take away my zeros, I know 2 times 4 is 8. Then I have 2 zeros to bring back. I come over here, 3 times 20. 3 times 2 is 6. I have a 0. I'm going to click down in this box. Now I'm doing 5 times 40. I know 5 times 4 is 20. Then I have 1 0 to bring back. And last but not least, I'm just doing 3 times 5, which if you know your facts, is 15. Next, you're going to come over here to the side and you're going to add all those numbers together. So you're going to have 800 plus 60, plus 60, which we know is 860. So I would probably just do 860, get rid of that 800, plus, and then 215, right? So let's just make it easy and say plus 215. And then I'd come down here and type my answer. Well, I know 5 plus 0 is 5, 1 plus 6 is 7, and 8 plus 2 is 10. So my answer is 1,075. Then you're just going to move on to your next slide, okay? So that is today's assignment. I think there's just a few slides, but you'll see if you scroll some that you're going to have some that become 3-digit. So you're going to have 3 boxes, right? Okay, so I would really challenge you guys to do your very best on this and If you have questions, just let me know. I'm around to help. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing all of your excellent work after this video.